Okay, CardFight Vanguard 29, jeez. Feels like just yesterday it started airing, seriously. I'm honestly kind of nervous. Nervous in a good way? No, I don't know. I'm nervous because I'm getting my hopes up again. I really am. So far the Deleters arc has been really good. Now, of course, it's only just started, but these past, including this one, these past 3 episodes or so have been really, really good. Boy, I guess this reboot really is capturing how much of a quality roller coaster the original Vanguard was, eh? Because I'll admit, this jump up in quality did happen in the original as well when Link Joker started, so I guess they're doing a good job of recapturing that. They're improving. It's getting better again. I really like this episode. Like, genuinely, I'm actually excited to watch more. Now, I liked the previous episode more, but I think I'm more excited now because this is once again another episode in a row that was really good. I only have one kind of problem with it. And even then, it's more of a minor writing problem more than anything else. It genuinely sounds like they're listening to the criticism and stuff. Again, I'm not going to say specifically to listen to me, but they are addressing a lot of my criticisms. Of course, that is all up to whether or not the manga ended up doing that stuff too, but whatever. This episode had a full card fight. I don't think they skipped anything of much out at all. They showed the beginning of the card fight to the end of the card fight, and that took up pretty much the entire episode. Gone are the days of quickly switching between different card fights and skipping out huge chunks of the card fights. Gone are the days where Tetsu approaches Kai to card fight and you're like, oh cool, I want to see that. And then it cuts to a different scene, and then when it cuts back, the card fight has finished. Yeah, that really frustrated me, and this was a full episode of just a card fight. We got some bits and some other story-related bits and pieces here and there surrounding it, but for the most part, this episode was just a full card fight, and it was a good card fight. It was a well-done card fight. It was enjoyable to watch one. It had a lot of personality to it. And I like how this arc is taking things fairly slow for now, which is good because we're introducing this new cast of characters. We're replacing Q4 with the Miyagi Academy Card Fight Club. This reboot barely established Q4, but we're already moving main casts and stuff. And so it makes sense to go out of our way to take some time to actually introduce and establish each of these characters. And this episode and the previous one has done a really good job of establishing Naoki and Korin. And so I'm looking forward to the next episode where we focus on Shingo. It's working so far. I feel like they're doing a good job here. I don't know, it's difficult to say. I mean, I guess the first arc of this reboot did a decent enough job of spending an episode per member of Q4 to properly introduce them and everything too. But the pacing here is really important, and it's really good. Yeah, it's just a really good episode. I guess I should get my problem out of the way. My problem is the writing. For the most part, the writing is fairly decent, actually. But I don't like how on the nose it was in this episode specifically, because we basically had a flashback scene where Naoki's brother came in or whatever, and was like, if you keep going this way, you're gonna be a boring adult with a boring life. And then Naoki's like, I do not want to be a boring adult with a boring life. And then it cuts to the present day card fight, where Naoki is like, if I get into card fighting, then I will no longer be a boring adult with a boring life. And obviously it's not worded exactly like that, but it does lack the subtlety. There's no subtlety to this writing in this episode, which is a shame because there's a lot of subtext to delve into, and subtlety would help that. Naoki mentions how, the reason he wants to get into the card game is because it interests him how much Aichi has changed, and the only thing he can attribute Aichi's change of character to is him getting into the card game. And so Naoki wants the same thing to happen to him as well. That's really good. There's a lot you can do with that. I like that. I like seeing Aichi progress as a character, and I like the idea of seeing Naoki progress as well. But I don't like it when it's just flatly told to us. And funnily enough, the previous episode did a really good job of showing Aichi's progression rather than telling us about it. Like, seeing Aichi in this new element of this new school and getting along with Naoki and trying to start the CardFight Club and all that other stuff was a visual way of showing us how much Aichi's changed throughout the series. But now we need an episode, I guess, where Naoki just tells us that he changed because card game, get it? And yeah, I know, that's the point. You already showed us. And it's a minor complaint in the long run. And that's because I stand by my original statement. This is a really good episode. The previous episode was a really good episode. And the episode before that, once again, really good episode. And I'm liking all the changes they're making here. And funnily enough, there's an aspect of Naoki's character that they do go out of their way to show us rather than telling. And that's during the scene where Shin Nita is teaching Naoki how to play the game. Because now the interactions and stuff between them two are really well done. Like, Naoki's acting very kind of rude and brash towards Shin, even though Shin has gone out of his way to not only build a deck for Naoki, but also teach him how to play the game, but also after hours when the shop is supposed to be closed. Like, Shin has gone out of his way to get Naoki into this game, but Naoki's acting kind of like a piece of shit back. And I liked that because it's a good way of showing us what Naoki's flaw is, without going, this is Naoki, he's very angry, he can't control his anger, get it? That was a really good scene. And I really like the dynamic of showing us someone who has never really card fighted before using such an intermediate deck. In the real world, if you did that, if you gave someone who's never played before, like a pro, like meta deck, they would just drown in it, you know? They would spend so long just reading all the different card effects and stuff and figuring out what the fuck they're supposed to do with it. That's why starter decks and stuff exist, because starter decks help ease people into the game. But because this is an anime, you can take some creative liberties here. And I like the liberties they took. It made for a really interesting dynamic of Naoki being a beginner, but using a meta deck and kind of adjusting to it as the episode progressed. Of course, he adjusted to it very quickly, quicker than you would in real life, but this isn't real life, so I don't mind. And it made for a really interesting dynamic. I loved that when Naoki drew one of his cards, he was like, oh, this is the card that Shin Nita said is really fucking good, but it doesn't look very good to me. And a beginner totally would do that. They would be like, yeah, I don't get it. And so I like that they captured that. They did a really good job with that. At first, I had kind of a problem with the fact that Naoki won, considering he's a beginner, but then I sat down for a second and was like, no, literally Vanguard does this every time. Every time there is like a beginner or something like this, the beginner always wins, so it's not necessarily a problem here, I guess. I mean, again, they could have executed it a little better, but I really like the dynamic they had nonetheless. Yeah, no, it's a really good episode. I know I keep saying that, but I'm surprised at how good it was. I like that we got to see quite a bit of Shingo before his actual episode and everything. That was neat. I like that they filled the classroom up with like different students and stuff and had like a bunch of people kind of contributing to the fight. Again, it very much reminds me of the early Reboot. Like, it's playing to its strengths here. The early Reboot did a really good job of building like a sense of community, having a lot of characters like witnessing a card fight and kind of commentating over it, and it kind of feeling like a community of people. And this time it was even better because you could tell the people watching didn't actually care, because they were only watching because Korin was there, not because they were playing the card game. And so that made for another interesting dynamic that helps set this episode apart from various others. I mean, I'm not sure what they're doing with Misaki yet, but I guess I'll give them a few more episodes to do something with Misaki, because so far she just kind of seems to be standing around looking mopey. Hopefully they do something interesting with her at some point that isn't love triangle related, because, I mean, honestly, that's the most generic place you could take it. But yeah, no, I'm genuinely looking forward to seeing where they go next with this. I hope it continues to take its time and kind of flesh things out, because that's been a problem with the Reboot a lot. And this episode might be the start of something like really good. I'm just really looking forward to watching more CardFight Vanguard. And it's been a long time since I last said that. Jeez.